Okay, it's 7, and I see Dee Dee's come in. So welcome. She's here to start the party, I guess. Um, I was just thinking, this is a short week at work for me, but the short weeks are always the longest. Let's see, what did I do? Let's see, what did I do? Oh, don't do that. Trying to get my other phone working so that I'm not touching the camera phone. Anyways, there's Lando. Welcome in, Lando. But yeah, I didn't really think of a topic or anything for today. Um, didn't want to go back to work this week and just caught up with that. That and then the excitement of my Nana Ludius having fry. So far, they've survived. Usually, the first spawnings of these cichlids, uh, they lose them or eat them or something. But so far, they're hanging on. Let's see, what else have I done? I moved my CPDs out into the building. I put them in with some. I don't know if I still have any blue jelly shrimp in that tank or not, but they went in that tank. Black Powder Aquatics is here. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I've been working on some consolidating, moving stuff around, trying to go down to fewer tanks for a little while so I can focus on not topics, focus on topics, focus on certain projects. And then other stuff going on. Let's see. I don't remember if I talked about it in this stream or if it was one of the other streams, or I mean on my channel or somebody else's channel when I was in chat about looking into 3D printers. Well, I ordered one and it came in today, so it's still in the box. It probably won't get unboxed until the weekend. And then at that point, it gets unboxed. I still don't know what I'm doing with it, but it's in the house at least. So I'll figure out some neat little things to 3D print, I'm sure. Make floating Pleco caves. So what have you all got going on? Anything new in your all's world? Between getting back to work and them expecting me to uh, catch up as if I had worked last week in a couple days. I haven't had much time to jump in streams and check in with everybody else. I'm looking at I think it's a lotus plant. in my 55 here, it's put up little. They look like lily pads. I don't know if they're technically lily pads or there's leaves on really long runners. And I guess I knew that they did that, but I hadn't thought about it. And apparently, I haven't paid that much attention to that tank because it's got 2, 3, 4, 4 on the surface and one's almost to the surface. Unless those things like just shoot up overnight. I don't think they shoot up overnight though. I wouldn't think that a plant could grow that fast, except for like algae and duckweed. I need to do a little more. I'll say do a little more research on that plant, I guess, but I need to figure out exactly what it is first. I haven't done very well with plants in the aquarium. I've tried different things. Now, when I first started this channel, 12 years ago, 13 years ago, whatever it was, right before I started the channel, I had a pretty good planted tank. It was dirted though, and I haven't done a dirted tank since then. So maybe I need to make another dirted tank. I made a fish bowl that was planted with dirt, and it was doing okay until dummy me decided to put some snails that eat plants in there. So now it's a moss tank or a moss bowl. It the Java moss is growing great in there, but although the plants, all the crypts and everything I had in there, they're all gone. The little snails had salad, I guess. There's Jeff Kane, Fish Fam Link, Zen Ginger. Welcome, welcome. Oh, I say I put this other phone up here so I can look at it for chat, but I keep touching that one up there. But yeah, I did get home a little earlier today. I was able to go check on the fish. I don't always get that opportunity if I work later. But I was glad to see the little fryer hanging out and doing good. And I'm not sure exactly what they're eating. I've seen them pick around at little algae, and I've been getting them fry food, but I don't ever see them eat the fry food. Looks like Vibes came in. Coral Works came in. Welcome. 49 here. That's a good question. I wonder what it is here. 34. Something eats the fry food and then they eat the something. Probably. I don't know what. I don't remember what type of fry food it is. It's a little powder food. I got it a little while back and didn't use it. And then I saw it sitting there and said, hey, I've got some fry. Let's feed them that. Now, with the other Amatollanias that I've bred, I never even thought about feeding the fry. They just grew on their own. I don't know if they were eating flakes or debris from the parents being messy eaters or what. I tried feeding the Celestial Pearl Danios pellets that were a millimeter and a half, I think. That didn't go over too well. They couldn't. I mean, it looked like a person trying to eat a basketball or something. But I've seen people say that giving fish food that's bigger than what they can fit in their mouth is good for them, that they can kind of scavenge at it all day long. And then I've seen people say that that's bad, so I don't know. Um, so I've been giving them smaller things more regularly, but it was kind of funny to see them try to eat the pellet that was about as big as their head. I'm reading chat here that talk about if Zen uses a computer or a phone, and I'm kind of disappointed that it's a phone because I thought it was a computer the whole time. And Koro says that's why she's so fast with the links. Well, see, I would think a computer would be faster. That's why I always assumed it was a computer. That was my excuse of why I was so much slower, because I'm using a phone. Welcome, Kalish, lurking at work. I try that some. I try lurking at work, but the problem is when I lurk at work, I can't have any sound on. And these live streams are kind of interesting when you can't hear what the person's saying. You just see them moving and talking. Dee Dee's got to go help kiddo with homework. Good luck with that. Me helping my kids with homework, I haven't. No, I remember doing this stuff, but I haven't used like some of this math and stuff. I haven't used it in. Well, I guess at this point it's been decades. Vibe says, whenever I'm modding, I prefer using a phone over a computer. I typically use a phone for everything. So, using the computer is all foreign to me. Retirement plan. Yeah. It I used to have a little joke or whatever. I don't remember exactly how it was, but it's like we make plans and then God laughs at us. Says, "You think you got a plan? Hey, watch this." And that's called life. Every time I think I've got stuff figured out, it goes a different direction. Yeah, I haven't used it in decades. And the part of it is like, it just seems odd to say decades. Okay, Coral says, though I guess it'd be more accurate if she was on a TI-84 being in Texas. I don't know if I missed the first part of that. I know TI-84 is a calculator, and anytime I see like the graphing calculators like that, it brings me back to high school and some of my more advanced math classes that I was taking. Uh, the classroom had graphing calculators, and I kind of got into a little trouble because we use the community graphing calculators, that it was discovered that I may have programmed the a couple of the graphing calculators to work all the formulas and do the work for me, that I just had to put in like values and it worked the problems for me instead of me actually doing all the equations and stuff like that. And I kind of ruined it for the whole class. They had to go get the memories wiped on all the calculators. But my argument was, if I'm able to program the calculators with the formulas and how they work, then doesn't that show that I know the formulas? Let's see. Zen says, I've tried it on my computer, but I'm such used to watching my phone that I'm actually significantly slower on the PC. I would actually make myself use it to become proficient. Yeah, I set the, I didn't have a computer forever. And I set that as a goal of, when I hit 500 subscribers, I'm going to get a computer. I don't know if it's 500, may have been. But I got a little Chromebook computer, laptop thing, and I rarely ever use the thing. When I do get it on YouTube, I can't find stuff because it's in different spots. Kayla says, can't even do the math that my kids bring home. Some Common Core BS. My oldest daughter's bringing home stuff that I remember doing it and thinking it was cool. Yeah, I was one of those nerds, thinking it was cool when I was doing it. But it had, and from my time out of high school, has no real life application. Um, maybe in some science field or something like that it does, but using math equations to draw pictures and stuff, I haven't used it since high school. Oh, the TI-84 was Abacus, but going with Texas Instruments. Okay, I got it. Okay, reading Jeff Kane's comment, I got new heaters. The autocorrect, I guess, to hearers confused me for a second. And suction cup handles today. That adds to the good day side of the scale. I've been fighting with suction cups. My sponge filters that have suction cups that hang them on the wall or hang them on the glass. I guess after, I don't know if I had them for 3 years or 5 years or somewhere in there, apparently the suction cups go bad because all the little double sponge, where's the camera? Double sponge filters that have the two sponges and the tube up the middle that suction cup onto the glass, all of them have stopped suction cupping into the glass. And when they do that, the bottom end floats, the top end goes down. Sailing Aquatics. If I didn't say hi, I don't remember. Did it jump? Vanassi, come in. Welcome. Salient. I don't know if I said hi to you or not. I was in advanced math as well, multiplication and all. I used to be pretty good at math, and that was one of my majors in college until I got bored with it and decided just because I know how to do this stuff doesn't mean that I should keep doing it. I actually took the AP Calculus exam in high school, and then in the middle of the AP Calculus test, I don't know, I had like a dumb moment or whatever like that. I don't know. I decided that taking the AP test was taking the easy way out, and that I actually have the period off to take the test and don't have to be in class. So why stress about the test? Just sit in there and like scribble on the test paper and not actually take it, so that I can actually spend time in college taking the class. But Zen says, "My preferred method of calculation is spell Excel spreadsheet formula cells." Yeah, I hadn't used Excel much at all until I got this job. Um, what was the other? There was another Microsoft program that was like Excel that I thought that was the one to use. But now I've got proficient in Excel, writing VBA codes and formulas and stuff. Excel is magic, and we should have had that class in high school. We barely had computers for my high school. Um, Once a month or so, we got to go to the computer lab. But like I said, I didn't use Excel much at all. But now that I get to use it at work, I'm treating it like those calculators and programming it to do a lot of my work for me. Vibes is lurking, getting ready for church. Enjoy Vibes. Church on Wednesday night. It's a pretty common thing here too. Typically here, most churches, which not trying to go into religion, most churches here have Sunday morning, Sunday night, and Wednesday nights. A few of them do odd times, Saturdays or Sunday middays or Tuesdays or something. Just to, they say it gives them opportunities to go visit other churches. But Coro says, "I boil my suction cups every couple of years to help refresh the rubber shape." Huh. I wouldn't have thought of that. It's probably too late for mine. Okay, does anyone make their own Matten filters or know any good videos on making one? I have a couple Matten filters. Um, I didn't really make them. I bought the foam at a fish swap, and they already had holes cut in it. But basically, all you need is aquarium safe foam, cut a slit or a hole, and have some sort of tube from the hole down to behind the foam, and then drive water up the tube using an airline or a pump or something. I should probably make a video about Matten filters. Fluval makes a good suction cup. Salem, I got that it was a joke. I'm horrible with humor, so trying to make jokes about jokes don't come off very well. Jeff Kane says they're extra large suction cup handles for lifting glass tanks. Oh, well, I would hate for one of those to fail. But I know what you're talking about, the ones that you, I don't know if this type clamps down, but I've seen them where you stick them on there and you clamp it down and then you unclamp it to release. I was an accountant in my former life, hence the love for Excel. I don't think I was an accountant before. But when I started into college, I started as a engineering, because math and science came easy to me. So I thought, because I knew how to do it, I should do it. And then I decided, since I didn't like doing it, probably shouldn't do it. but I probably should have anyways. Kalis asks if Jeff's getting ready for some big tanks. See, I was thinking if he's going to build a big tank. Mixing letters and numbers. Letters just stand for missing numbers. So you can actually do the math to find out the figure that goes there like a puzzle. And there's other symbols too, like Greek letters. I remember in college working the formulas out in a completely different set of Greek letters and symbols and stuff than what the instructor had taught me, or what he thought he had taught me, but I had already knew how to do the stuff with the other characters. And he asked me to show my work one day, and I showed it, and it was the more advanced way than what he was teaching. And he said, "Okay, remind me never to call you to the board again." So Jeff did make some tanks, currently working on removing them for under gravel. Adding under gravel to the tanks, that's the way to go. Under gravel filters are so misunderstood, and the manufacturers that make the under gravel filters, when they developed power filters, the hang on the back filters, they did a really good job of doing misinformation and bad PR on their old products so they can sell new products. And it's carried through where people repeat things that aren't really the truth, that they've heard someone else say. And a lot of people don't know how to use them properly. They think they gravel vac the whole gravel at one time, or that they you put a power head on one end and an air bubbler on the other end, or that you have to worry about the debris under the plate. But well, that's something else. Clamp down top. Yep. Can we see some tanks? See, I was thinking about that before I set up here, that I have the one tank here and I can't really get it turned around, but I need to do a more mobile stream from out in the building where all the tanks are. Or at least do a video, but it'd be nice to, have a live, see how dirty my tanks are video. I might do one of those. Thought about doing another pop-up this Sunday, but I'm supposed to have some sort of family get-together thing. Bentley hates under gravels. Well, I don't know if he does or not. A lot of people think you get new planted tanks with under gravels, but I know quite a few people that have. They actually do pretty good. Plants do pretty good in under gravel filters. When it comes time to clean the filter, it's very likely to kill baby shrimp. With a Matten filter, if it's only shrimp, it's possible you might not have to clean it. Yeah, and depending on how you clean the Matten filters. I hadn't thought about that. I haven't cleaned my Matten filters in over a year. Dog lovers spread awful rumors about cats. Possibly. I love UGFs. They're great for betas and other smaller tanks that need low flow or larger fry. You don't want to get sucked into return. They have their uses, I think, but I'm old, says Zen Ginger. I think, yeah, Undergravels is one of my favorites. The biggest downside I can see to Undergravel filters is, the two biggest downfalls is the problem with being able to take the media from this Undergravel filter and put it in another tank. But I guess you could, but you just be moving your substrate, but maybe you want a different type of substrate in that tank. And then if you've got digging fish, say if you got like cichlids or something that like to dig, then you have to put precautions in their barriers and stuff like that. And Coral says, Jeff, what if you slid a sheet of plastic down the front of the sponge before you pulled the old sponge out to clean it? Like those cutting boards, yeah. And then I was also thinking there's methods where you can clean it in the tank without even taking the sponge out. And I know some people that actually like silicone their mat and filter in the tank so it can't be taken out. Salem says he does. He did a video on them talking about Bentley not liking Undergravel filters. Well, he did a video talking about how horrible Undergravel filters. He did a video on how horrible the Undergravel filters are, and then his next video out was talking about how Undergravel filters were the best filter. He's been doing a series where one video will talk about how horrible something is, the next video will talk about how great it is. I like the idea, and I think it gets a lot of views that way and a lot of comments for people that don't know that he's doing the back and forth series that way. People that he'll say that the sponge filter is the best filter, and people will disagree with him, and he'll get a lot of comments, or people agree with him. If I was to do a video series like that, I would put, here's the bad stuff, here's the good stuff, but then I wouldn't get as much interaction. Jeff Kane says my Undergravels are DIY, dirted sand. Yeah, I wanted to try DIY Undergravels. They're really easy to make. Technically Undergravel filters don't have to have a plate. You just have to have water intake under your gravels. So it could be PVC pipes with holes in them. Dirted and sand. Yeah, as long as you got water movement through the dirt or the sand, or in some areas where it isn't dirted or isn't sand that has water movement, because that's the whole point, is to have water movement through the Undergravel filter substrate. Koro says Undergravel filters are my favorite, to be honest. Even with a canister or anything, there aren't really any situations where using Undergravel alongside your other filtration would be harmful. Not that I can think of. No, the only thing that I can think is, and it doesn't make it harmful. It just kind of makes it so that the Undergravel filter isn't doing anything, is the ones that will take and put an intake on one uplift tube of an Undergravel filter and an air stone on the other one, or something like that. Your uplift tubes need to equal equal flow because water's going to take the path of least resistance. So if it has a opening over here that's pulling really hard quickly up, and an opening over here that's not, it could pull the water down down your uplift and bypass the gravel altogether. Bloody cats. See, if I was going to have a mammal pet, a cat or a dog, I would probably go with a cat, just because I'm away from the house so much that it wouldn't be fair to the dog for it to be in either contained outside all the time. I would want it to be inside with me as a companion animal, and I'm at work so much that it'd be spending 15 or more hours alone in the house, and dogs are community animals that wouldn't be fair to it. But cats don't care if you're there or not. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. They'll be fine typically for hours without you. But the only reason that I wouldn't get a cat right now is the neighbor is the cat guy. The crazy cat lady. Well, this is the cat guy. He's got 25 or more cats running all over the neighborhood. And there, Coro's talking about Bentley doing a series where he hates the filter and then the filter is good. Thank you, Salient. Black Powder's Mark. I've been sitting here like, I should know who Black Powder is. Scrolling. Kayla's thanking Jeff for the info, trying to decide how to set them up. To set up the matte filters, there's different ways you can do corners, you can do the whole back, you can do different things. The benefit to the matte filters, like with sumps, I'm a proponent, I guess is the word, for sumps also, is you can put equipment behind the matte filters. You can put heaters and different equipment back there and hide it. But then there's also the possibility for your livestock to get behind the matte filter also. Shrimp, fish, all that will be behind the matte filter. Whether you put the equipment back there or not, they're just sneaky little critters. In all seriousness, we all know the best filter is canisters. They blow all the others away by far. The power, the awesome room for countless custom media. I'm assuming Salient is being sarcastic there. I don't like sumps. They need too much babysitting and drilled tanks. See, I'm the complete opposite. I'm team sump. I've had way too much trouble out of canisters, never had any trouble out of sumps. Sumps have been far more customizable for me, and I've ran them without drilling tanks. The majority of them that I've ran without drilling tanks. Hang on the backs need too much maintenance. A lot of filters need maintenance. Hang on the back. I think each type of filter has their place. I don't like canisters, but they do have their place. I can see where they'd be beneficial. Um, there's places that sumps wouldn't be good. Places under gravel filters wouldn't be good. Hang on the backs. I think they're good for beginners, but they were built as a method to sell more products by the manufacturers to sell those cartridges that you don't need. A hang on the back filter in general is designed so that the surface area of the inside compartment of the filter is sufficient to grow the bacteria that all the cartridges and all the other stuff that's in there isn't really needed. It can add to it, but it's not necessary. I actually have one of those bypass the gravel tanks on purpose. I put a surface skimmer on one side and a power head on the other. It still pulls through the sand some, but the beneath the sand is super oxygenated. Okay, yep. Sponge filters are cool. Can't knock them. Yeah, but like I said, each filter has their pros and has their cons. Um, there's a lot of back and forth going around right now about the sponge filters of the coarse or the fine or the shape and all this. Which does better? Which is, do you need longer filters, taller filters? Does it need extra ridges or spines or so? Sumps don't need to be drilled. True. You just have to get the water out of them somehow, or out of the tank somehow into the sump. And you can use basically water bridge technology for that. You can use pumps for that. All kinds of different stuff. Designed mostly for drilled tanks. They're used a lot with drilled tanks. Whoops. Kick the. Oh, I found the tripod. If you were in the other stream where the kids lost my tripod, because the tripod goes in a kid's bed. It was tucked away in the bed. Let's see. Canisters are just overpriced, undersized sumps. I think canisters do a different job than a sump, but for me, with a canister, there's too much room for failure, and you can't monitor it very well. If you're going to use them in a drilled tank, why not just get a canister? Well, a benefit to the sumps is you can use a sump as a refugium. I can't say that word, but a place to put other things that you couldn't put in your main tank. You can put equipment in there. You can increases the water volume quite a bit, depending on the size of your sump. Oh, black powder's an alternate channel. I thought you'd changed the name of your existing one. I've got a couple alternates that I use to look at other things, like at trains or farming stuff, and I've been known to accidentally get on a fish stream and get on there with one of the alternates, and I see that little icon pop. I'm like, well, nobody's gonna know who I am. I got to switch to the select pet channel. It's all in fun. But canisters are my favorite. Yeah, I mean, everybody's got their favorite thing. I use about everything. I got 2 hang on the backs, and now a sponge filter in that tank there. My bowl is the you can call the Wallstead method. Was heavily planted with one little fish in it, do the natural thing. Now it's mostly moss, and I've got internal filters and under gravels and let's see, where was I? Team sump at the moment. Yeah, it's like with fish. I'll really be pro sponge, and then I'll be pro matting, and then I'll be pro hang on the back. Different things. Salient says I never have issue with my canisters. Clean lube seals a couple times a year, couple times a years. And I think that's the thing with a lot of the filters is people that don't maintain them properly or aren't as familiar with them and don't use them correctly have trouble at them, and they say they're bad. And that's, for me, canisters have, they have seals, they have gaskets, they have hoses, and if you don't watch and you have a part go bad, you don't realize that it can create a mess or whatever. But you can say that about any of them, I guess. How do you do a sump without drilling? There's quite a few different ways. The most popular is to do an over the back overflow, and it works kind of on a siphon, but not really a siphon. If you're familiar with like a water bridge of how the tube goes from like one level of water to another level of water, and the tube goes through that. It's kind of the same technology, but when it gets to this side over here, outside the tank, everything's backwards in the camera. There's no water there, so it drops. Well, it would have water going back up, but then it drops down into the sump. So you maintain water in the top part, and then whenever the water rises over here, the pressure pushes it out. There's videos out there about hang on the back overflows, or there's DIY PVC overflows. You could also use a powered system where you pump water out of the tank down to a sump and back up, or you can have sumps over the tank. Sumps don't have to be underneath, where you pump it up to the sump above and then use gravity to return. I just ignore my filters until water stops. Very little maintenance. Stephen P., welcome. I have some tanks that do that, yes. I cleaned some sponge filters 2 days ago that it felt like they went, like after I cleaned them, they got 5 pounds lighter. The bubbles had stopped coming out of them, and cleaned the sponges, and they did really good after that. Coro says, realistically, I like that if my sump pump goes out, I can put literally any old pump from a dozen hardware stores in it and replace the pump while I wait for a new impeller or something. And on most of my sumps, that's what I use. I use pond pumps or plumbing water pumps, different. I could piece them together how I wanted to. Surf City Cichlids, I don't remember saying hello to you. Or Killer Kitty, I don't remember saying hello to you. I know I answered some questions there. Hello, both of you all. Current tanks, 1 sump, 1 bottom drilled canister. with an undergrowth filter, 5 sponges, 1 matin, all work. Preferences, slight benefits based on application. Yep. Which I've got currently 1 tank that's drilled, and I'm going to use either drilled or the over the back overflows for the rest of the tanks, but they're not going to be for filtration. Going to be for if I ever get this dumb auto water change taken care of. They make overflows, or you can make them from PVC, etc. Yeah, it looks like magic, the over the back overflows, but when you really get into it and understand the science behind it, they're not that complicated. I toss the disposable filter cartridges and stuff them with sponge. Yeah, depending on the tanks, I'll save the cartridge for another use later, or I'll use it for a while. It does have a little activated carbon in them usually, and the filter floss, but they're not really worth much for what they actually do. But some of them, you can use a little bit. And Kalish is leaving or has left. I'm probably behind. I don't know how far behind I am. So have a good one. The FX impeller goes out. Yeah. 8 canisters. And I thought about, making homemade canisters. You can do that too. Uh-oh. Silent says never happened. Okay, said yet. I did jinx himself. Scrolling down through here. They sell service kits, which I have on hand and never had to use yet. Having spare parts on hand is nice if you're going to have something as dependent on moving parts as a canister or a more expensive hang on the back. A cheaper hang on the back, it's cheaper to just go buy a new hang on the back. I had a Penguin that, I think it was an impeller that messed up, and the impeller was more than the whole new filter. Yeah, that's what I was worried about, Salient. When I say stuff doesn't mess up, then I go look and it's messed up. All you need for a canister: a Phillips screwdriver, a toothbrush, super lube, food grade grease. To fix the canister or to be the canister? I don't want to know what you do with the lube if you're being the canister. Auto water change in the greenhouse. I gotta get the greenhouse put together first. Auto water change in the fish building first. The exhaust pipe, the flue or whatever you call it for the water heater, for the gas water heater, has given me fits that I missed a piece and was trying to eyeball the size that I needed for the other piece without realizing I missed the connector piece. And when it wouldn't fit, I went and bought the next size, and it was too big, and the other size was too small. And so I had a ton of extra parts that didn't fit anything, but I got it figured out now. Just need to actually do it. Walking the dog. So it's probably the dog that did it. Had a guy at work call and say he wouldn't be into work, that he was walking his dog and his dog tripped him and he fell down 14 concrete stairs. Another good reason not to have a dog. Run 3 FX6, 2 FX4, 1 407. Yeah, I guess it was just under his feet and he was trying to come down the steps of his apartment and he came down the steps of his apartment. I kind of wondered what happened. You trip over the dog, you fall down a flight of stairs. Do are you hanging onto the leash? Do you take the dog with you? Do you let go? Does the dog trip and roll down the stairs too? I didn't ask, but it was going through my head. I hope that he didn't like hang onto the leash thinking it was going to catch him and drag the dog down the steps too. And we have a flight of 8 and then a flight of 6. They're different width and pitch on the way from the parking spot to the front door. I'll foot on them for sure. I think every house that I've lived in, I've fallen down or up the stairs. I've been pretty good about falling upstairs. Even if it's just like 2 stairs. I lived in a house once that was kind of split level, bedrooms on one level, and then the house or the living room, kitchen, laundry on the other level, and there was like 2 steps. Came home from work when I was working night shift. Came home from work, was gonna do laundry, carrying the basket down the 2 steps, missed, slid down the 2 steps, laid there for 10 minutes. 3G. Let's see. Steven says, as if a cat wouldn't trip you without remorse. Yeah. 3G came in, welcome. I had a cat once. And it was kind of a cat that was given to me. It was named, I don't remember what its real name was, but its nickname was Satan because it liked to hunt me. That it would hide behind the couch or whatever and run out and just claw into my calves. I run laps around the house and stuff. I hate falling going up the steps and hate falling going down the steps. Oh, click the button. The cat probably intends to trip you. Yep. Live scope on a boat. That sounds neat. I need to keep track of whose team canister, whose team sump. For future reference, I guess. And I know it's all in fun. But wow, the hour went by quickly. I was thinking it would take forever because I procrastinate and put these things off and like, oh, I don't feel like doing it, blah, blah, blah. But I know meeting up with all of you all and getting to talk stuff, fish and calculators and who knows what is always fun. Um, Team Air Powered. Can you ask my real name? Yeah, you can ask. My name's John. And I used to say that in my videos, but anymore, there's so many Johns out there that I go into a stream like, oh, hey, John. And I don't know if they're talking to me or this one or that one or that one. So I'm running through the chat real quick. That's fine. I answered to John. Funny story, and then I'll end. First time that I met Skipper in person, I could not call him Thomas or Tom or anything like that. It was Skipper. This is Skipper. But that seemed weird to me too because his wife was there too. So, yeah. John, Surf City. Yep. All right. Well, we're at the hour, a little over, and I got to get stuff done. Thank you all for all coming out and making this the best part of my day. I should have another stream next week, next Wednesday, and if I can get out of the family thing at a decent time on Sunday or out of it altogether, I may pop up on Sunday. But thanks again, and I'll see y'all later.